Hi, welcome to my video. I'm Jennifer Roberts. You're catching me on my YouTube channel, True Divine 44. You can also get me on my Facebook page, True Divine 44, and it is the True Divine for both Instagram and Twitter. Any likes, shares, subscribes, comments are greatly, greatly appreciated, and much love to everybody who does that thus far. Mwah. Love to you all. I appreciate it so much. So this is part of the free content that I put out on a daily basis to help you guide your way through your day, to recognize the energies around you, the energies within you, and the energies within others. I work with energy, I pick up on frequency. So I combine that with the tarot work that I do to give you something to go on for your day, to make the most of each day. I want everybody that listens, that resonates with the readings, and of course they are general, so take what resonates and leave what does not, to be able to harness the energies to their fullest, to achieve. I love to see people doing well. And so if I can help along with that, then that's what my calling is to do. So this is for the 23rd of October 2020. You know, we are living in interesting times and in intense times. And if you haven't realized yet that we're in some kind of dystopia, you know, some kind of, you know, who would think that we would be looking at presidential debates with masked first ladies and masked whatever the other lady is coming on the stage at the end, to see even just the eyes of the face, nothing else. Who would have thought that you would see people driving around in their own car on their own with a mask on? But that's where we are at. And so it's to look through the illusions in particular is a huge message here, to realize the unbelievable is actually the most believable, to realize that you've been played. We've all been played to a certain extent, depending on when and how, on what part of the spectrum of awareness you are on. So for the 23rd, we've got the Two of Wands. And so this speaks to trade deals. This speaks to look into different horizons. Look out. I know that there is the stuff with the Biden laptop, and there is stuff already out there with the contracts that the Biden family have been maintaining and gaining from for a long time with China and the Ukraine, I think, and probably very more. But there are other deals going on, these moving parts, these powers that be. There is something that is going to come out today that will reveal a very, very underhand deal, on top of the others that are already out there. I feel that very, very strongly. Now, in your individual life, we have to look out for illusion. We have to look out for trickery when we are looking for a way forward, for trade, for business, for life direction. You see, this guy with the Two of Wands has the world in his hands, and the world seems so small in his hands, but looking out to the horizon, you can see the expanse of the horizon. It's to open your mind to other opportunities, other things that you wouldn't usually have considered going down, to look at different ways of doing things, to look at different ways of following your dreams, following your passions. With this Seven of Cups clarifying it, we see that there is trickery and illusion here of your own emotions, of your own mind, in that there is an indecisiveness. There seems to be such an expanse in the horizon, but your mind is still on the small, that you need to open up to, on one side, open up to other things that you wouldn't usually have considered to be a direction, but then close down a little bit on the things that you want to follow, what you're emotionally or intuitively driven to follow. Really do some deep diving meditation into this to find, to minimize how many cups and options are here, how many projects are here. Start with one, get things moving on one, and then if you can add another and then another, that's fine. But right now there's a little bit of an overwhelmed feeling as to how things are going to go, which direction you should go in, trying to preempt what is going on. And that's not wrong. because the energies of the moving parts and in the powers that be are creating this. We are picking up on this intuitively, that they are changing systems that they have forced us to live under, banking systems in particular, in which what will be if you look back, and if I'd said to you 8 years ago, everybody's going to be forced to wear masks that do not protect from the very thing that is being perpetrated as a major killer, but the numbers will not correlate. If I was to say that, you would have called me crazy. No, that's too far out. A conspiracy theorist, tinfoil hat, which I proudly am. So open your mind to the fact that this is a setup, and you're picking up on that. And so it's hard to find your own direction within those energies that you're intuitively picking up on, in that there are moving parts that are this is a cover story, an illusion for the many different things that they are deciding to change, that then we will potentially be forced to live under. So it's to find your own direction right now. That's all you can do, to go forward with your own passions, to open your mind to more options, but not overwhelm yourself with too many avenues. So I hope that helps whoever resonates with that. I think many people do. Then we have the Seven of Pentacles. There's this contemplation of and a bit of sadness, I feel. Sorry, I'll turn that off. And a bit of sadness that I feel, that, you know, people have worked hard for what they have built up. People have, you know, gone along and struggled their way through the hoops that you have to jump through to succeed in the physical reality, you know, the home, the car, the sustainability, the clothes, all of those things that we need. But there's a contemplation here of what you can actually let go of to lighten your load in your physical reality, what commitments you can let go of. But there's a sadness here, I feel, or melancholy type of energy, whoever this resonates with. And then we have the Nine of Wands to clarify that. Now, this Nine of Wands keeps coming up. This is a completely different deck, and it keeps coming up, and it is this nearly there energy, and this spirit-like figure meditating, trying to contemplate what is the next step, speaks to the Two of Wands and the Seven of Cups in the first two cards. And so this speaks to also the contemplation that we see in the physical also. So it's this trying to remember what you're really passionate about in the Nine of Wands, and trying to figure out the best way to go about doing that, going in the right direction, taking the time out to do that deep dive meditation, because really all you've got to go on right now is intuition. To redirect steps, to not be afraid to look to the less obvious, to not be afraid to look to the paths that you hadn't considered before. And then we have this contemplation in the physical reality. So in this bit, it's the drive, it's the passion, it's the wands, it's the fire. It's the trying to keep that flame lit within, because we all have become very drained, very tired, very sick of all of the facade and fiasco that is going on right now, and then bringing it into the physical. So you're contemplating on two sides as to, so how do I maintain my physical, or gain in my physical reality and my sustainability, but still follow something that I'm passionate about, something that I'm driven about. And so again, it's a heavy energy. It's a heavy contemplative energy. And then we see the Seven of Wands in reverse. And so this speaks of feeling very, very defensive, and not for any made up reason. It is for good reason, in that people who have decided to stay in the lower frequencies, decided to not be aware of what is going on, not be open-minded about what is going on, to see past the illusions, are triggered to hell right now. And today is, for whatever reason, I suppose 23 would make a 5, conflict, change, tipping point. I think there's a lot of people going to be triggered today into attack mode. And it's not that they have got any real good grounds to attack you. If this resonates with you, it's that it's their own trigger points. It's their own unresolved inner work that is making them be like bombs, exploding up in your face. And so you see that. But because everybody is feeling a bit drained and you just want to be in your own space, to be contemplative, to find the right directions to go ahead, to look at what's going on in the physical reality and figure out how that affects you in your drive, it comes up in reverse, because you would be in a more strengthened position if it was upright, because you're on the hill, you've got the high ground, you can see any attack coming. This way, it's a bit of a surprise attack. You might find that people that you thought you were close to, people thought that you thought you shared camaraderie with, turn, and it's shock. It's a shock. So it puts you not on the higher ground, but in turmoil, because you don't expect it from them, or you don't expect the level of veracity from them regarding something that isn't really yours to own anyway. And it might be that with this change of direction that you've contemplated, that the people around you that are closest to you don't like it, because they don't see where you're going with it, or they don't see where they fit in with it, not realizing and not picking up on the energies right now of this is a very individual journey with collective results. It's all about, self-work, inner work, and the right people will fall around you, and the right people the wrong people will fall away from you if you're doing that correctly. And so then we have the 5 of Swords to clarify this. This is where this energy gets real nasty, we have again that energy of slander. We have again that energy of gossip. We have again that energy of people talking behind your back, the swords being air, words, thoughts. And it really puts you off your stroke. It really takes you away from your high ground, because you're not expecting that. Now, there is some gems within this, in that if certain people who are triggered and explode at you, and there are certain aspects or certain words that they throw at you have an effect on you, or have a greater effect than you would expect anyway, of the initial shock and horror of somebody turning that's so close to you, or indeed who has nothing to do with you, so you just don't expect it from that direction either, because why would they bother? If there is anything in that makes you rile up a bit or start triggering, that gives you a little gem within this, at least, in that acts as a mirror of, and it's like the owl message that we had yesterday in the oracle card, in that, that often the things that irritate us most or upset us most, we can use as a mirror to see, okay, so is there something within me that I need to work on, because that got me, that pulled me in a little bit, for a while, that triggered me a little bit. Why was I triggered there? What is in these words? Have I got some inner work that is unresolved, some name calling that I had in the past, some hurts that I had in the past, some actions that I took in the past that I now regret? So there are gems within each energy if you seek it, if you dig for it. But it is a difficult day. Now this is we've got the Judgment card on the bottom of the deck. This keeps coming up, and this is part of the Great Separation, the Great Reset. And it's where you find your ground. Within these types of energies in particular are exactly the types of tombs that we put ourselves in, the heavy, more the heavy, more less enjoyable energies are actually usually the very things that make us chisel, if we are in a high frequency, chisel away and create real foundations from. Because like I said before, we can use these things as a mirror to really dig down deep and cleanse our inner ground and make sure we stand up in a stronger position than we did before. This is all part of the trials and tribulations of some ascension that we are going through right now. If you're on the high frequency, that there is this separation going on. So we do have people that are existing in the lower frequency and throwing out these energies that we've talked about today. But there are also the people who are deciding to be in the higher frequency, going towards their path, their journey, what they came here to do, the trumpets calling, so to speak. You know, there's a pull there from the universal energies to say, you know, this is where you plan to be, this is what you plan to do, remembering who you are, remembering that you are an expansive being that is having a physical experience, not just what you see and feel in this skin suit. And so these trials and tribulations, these heavier energies, you know, do batter and bruise us a bit, but actually with that we strengthen. Like exercise, you know, we put ourselves through regimes that make us ache, that make us feel like we can't go any further, but we push through. And actually that ache becomes quite enjoyable. And so the real wisdom in this is to not be sadistic, but to see that, say thank you. Thank you. You want to throw your triggers at me, you want to throw your lack of inner work at me. Thank you. Because I've gotten very good at doing inner work. I've gotten very good at looking at those things and using them as a mirror to strengthen myself in my tomb, in my lower grounds, in my fertile grounds. Because from there I grow stronger, I grow in wisdom, I grow in spirit and strength. And I grow with my foundations getting deeper and deeper, further rooted in knowing who I am. And that is all about going to the judgment card energy, the soul's path, what you came here to do. So, you know, the real wisdom in this is to look at these days. And it's difficult. I know, I'm not saying that it doesn't get to you. I've had quite a few days this week where I've just thought, and it's got to me, but then I dig deep and say, you know what? Thank you. Thanks. Thanks a bunch, because you made me stronger. And today I'm feeling great for it, because I know I've cleared out some more stuff that might have held me back when I'm going towards my horizons. So that being said, there's wisdom in doing that, and there's a bit of fun in it, because once you're only playing the game with yourself. If you can get through that psyop, that you are only playing the game with yourself, these characters that come into your life to throw these things at you, these spanners in the works, are actually just involving you in a game. They're trying to involve you in a game with them. But when you take the strength away from them or the power over you away from them by saying, you know what, I'm in the game with me. So yeah, I'll take those hints and tips. It's a bit like going to the races and getting some inside knowledge. Thanks for the inside knowledge. Now I'm going to whoop you around this lap. You know, play the game, and you're playing it with yourself. And you're just taking these hints and tips to give you the heads up, to give you the inside gin, to know what to do with self, to grow more, to get stronger, to go forward faster. And so with that being said, on the other deck, on the bottom of the deck, we have the Ace of Cups in reverse. And so this speaks to, ironically, in a lot of ways, finding new relationships, finding new friendships, finding new tribe, new crowds, or new people being introduced into this, but also the fact that there's an emptiness in some of the spaces that you're in. And this reading just speaks of that, in that there's an emptiness and some of the things that you've built up, that you've worked on, they don't do it for you anymore. They don't get you going anymore with this Seven of Pentacles and Nine of Wands. There's an emptiness in that. There's lots of options there, but you know, there's one cup that just, it doesn't do it anymore. It's spilt over. And so don't be alarmed if that is happening. Let it happen. Flow with it, like the Seven of Cups shows, with that flowing river, you know, because what is meant to stand in your life emotionally will continue to stand up like these cups in this heavy flowing river. What is meant to fall will fall, because it hasn't got any emotional root, any emotional worth, any, not any, but less than worth anymore to you. So I hope that makes sense. I hope that helps whoever that resonates with. I really do appreciate you listening. If you'd like a personal reading with me, you can hit me up at truedivinemedia@gmail.com, or if you'd like any spiritual guidance sessions, a couple of those are going really, really well for people. You can do that also, truedivinemedia@gmail.com, or any energy work sessions to help you align your energy, to help you face things like this in a stronger position, knowing thyself so much more. Again, truedivinemedia@gmail.com, or you can message me for any of those personally at Facebook on my business page, True Divine 44. Much love, stay balanced and stay whole. Mwah, mwah, mwah.